I rate Spider-Man Team Up 60 by Christopher Clairvoyant and Jason Byrne. Spider-Man and Wasps versus the thermodynamic fury of Equinox. I was going to call him Esquilax, but it felt pointless. He is only ever going to appear in this two-parter. Cover by the mighty Al Milburn. Wasps is miscoloured on it. I noticed that just before I said Al Reet. And we kick things off with a surefire int of Christopher Clairvoyant. Now, Jessica DeWolf and Christopher Clairvoyant's police character from Iron Fist, they are both just part of the scene. This is continuing on from the previous issue. The same scene. They have just shown up out of nowhere. Here, look, there's no one else there. Spider-Man and Wasps. That is how the issue ended. And on the page before, we got a wider shot. We got a bit of what could have established the presence of others. It was just Spider-Man, Wasps, and Margay. Don't worry if you are confused who she is. She will get her time. Both the sudden appearance of these established characters and Margay are evidence of a major Christopher Clairvoyant tick. He is very much obsessed with civilian characters. He loves writing civilians. He loves writing them all as anything but normal. His civilians are always overwritten. They are often the true heroes of the story. All his civilians are the furthest thing from normal people you can find, which defeats the point entirely. Maybe you hadn't actually recognised this before about Christopher Clairvoyant, because his civilians tend to end up not being civilians for very long. They will be revealed to be sorceresses or goblin queens, because he won't let anybody be a normal person. You will see how Margay comes to overshadow our heroes, but right now we have Spider-Man and Wasps trying to battle the villain Equinox. Equinox has both ice and fire powers, and he has been driven evil by the instability of those powers. Last issue ended with Equinox appearing to have killed Wasp's husband, Hank Gordon. Margay is Equinox's mam. We say mam over here, not mum or mom. I am not doing racist shorthand for the mammy stereotype when I say she is Equinox's mam. The focus on Margay in this is overbearing. I mean, look, you are seeing her fight Equinox here. Who buys Spider-Man Team Up because they want to see a random middle-aged civilian woman shooting a supervillain with a magic ray gun? With that said, I do want to commend it a bit because both her and Equinox are African American, and that is never ever even mentioned. And Margay comes with a high-end career and profession. And this is good racial representation for its time. I don't respect much about Christopher Clairvoyant when it comes to his brand of representation, but Equinox and Margay are on paper probably his most flattering piece of representation. But we do have a black woman drawn by Jason Byrne, so any positive value is rendered moot by him. We are being told Equinox's origin here. He was in a science accident. The heroes and Margay, they go to Fantastic Force's headquarters because Wasps says that nobody is at home at Avengers House and that their lab has been destroyed. Surely there would be someone on monitor duty at Avengers House. When she says that their lab has been destroyed, I would guess this is in reference to Avengers 161. I am not contradicting myself. I said that the first part of this came out a month before that story. This issue came out the same month as that part of that story. It probably is referencing that. My point in the first video was that this two-parter wasn't a written response to that Ultron story, because that Ultron story hadn't come out yet before the first issue of this story. Christopher Clairvoyant likely didn't read that Ultron story until everyone else did. People just love to deify Christopher Clairvoyant and make him and all his ideas or plans sound like he was always raging against the machine. But the truth is, the machine is to thank for any of his ideas being good. Without the machine, Nightmare Man would have been the Smurfs' dad. Saberclaw would have been Wolfman's dad. And Phoenix would never have sacrificed herself. And so the Dark Phoenix saga would not have been anywhere near as celebrated as a story arc, because it would have had a less impactful ending that didn't speak of love or triumph, but of random last-minute arse-pull bullshit. I do think it is a bit too fortuitous that this reference to the lab being destroyed is referring to something that came out that month. Maybe it is referring to Avengers 157, which began with the Dark Knight statue attacking the lab. Or maybe Jim Reaper destroyed the lab in Avengers 160. I do like that this establishes that the Avengers and Fantastic Force have security that accommodates each team needing the use of the other's facilities when the team isn't around to provide it to them. That is connectivity that I like. They are going to try to build well, Margate is going to try and build. Summit to regulate Equinox's powers. And I suppose I can talk about Wasps a little bit here. I do like what Christopher Clairvoyant tries to do with Wasps in this two-parter. He definitely gives her some independence and agency and makes her a capable heroine. She wasn't completely useless before, but this is a giant step towards her being an actual character rather than Ank Gordon's glorified sidekick or the Avengers' token woman. This is also my favourite costume for her. This basic design. There is variations of this with different colour schemes. I generally like yellow on red, or black or blue. I think the red is the best. It makes her look less like she is auditioning for the Excellent Man. This is how she was depicted in the first wave of Andy books. So that might be a part of it. But I would say it succeeds the most of her costumes because it looks unique enough to her. And the colours somewhat go with the idea of a wasp. When she is wearing random bullshit, baby blue colours, I am thinking specifically of one cover, or when she's wearing those outrageous one-off costumes, none of them ever make that much sense for her with regards to her chosen appellation. There isn't much more to the story, but two last things to discuss are Equinox again. I like Equinox. I think he is a better villain than his usage suggests. I think Equinox could easily be implemented into the Marvel Universe as one of those persistent, workman-like villains. I don't think he could ever be the same level as Mr. Hind or Crusher, but I can envision him being half of what they are. He is powerful. He has a decent set of powers for any hero to have to combat. And visually, there is a nice thing where you can alternate his fire and ice orbs. He is written as a challenge in this story. And I think he definitely deserved more. He doesn't get more. At least not much more. Equinox never even went on to be that sort of villain who gets to appear in the background all the time. All I can really think of afterwards is he is in an issue of The Initiation. He is at the front of a splash page of bad guys in issue 28. Don't think he has a line of dialogue, or even appears much in the story besides that image. Maybe my opinion on him not being a lame villain is just based on this story and his appearance in a video game. Actually, no, that is not my problem. This story, it is almost all of his appearances. When this is the main shown for a character, you are not incorrect correct to view this as an accurate measure of them? Am I meant to consider Equinox a dreadful villain because of him not really appearing again, or because of that one story from 30 years later where he is only on one big page? No, this clearly shows he is a powerful bad guy, and there is no reason this character didn't return in this or any other title somewhere. Have him as a prisoner at Project Cadmus. Have him on a Masters of Evil team. Have him in an issue of Avengers that is focusing on Wasps or Hank Gordon. On the topic of Hank Gordon, this here is one of my all-time favourite images of Hank Gordon. One of his best moments is return. Great two-parter here. Lovely reconfiguration of Wasp's powers and her usefulness. A quality villain if you ask me. And it even managed to make Hank Gordon look good at the end. Does anyone else agree with me that Equinox deserved to be a more present villain over the years after this? Maybe he is in an Hostess advert. I didn't actually talk about the thing I had outlined to talk about, so I suppose I'll have to review another Christopher Clairvoyant Spider-Man team-up to talk about that. I do give this the same amount of thumbs up as part 1. I was trying to come up with something smart there to do with like Equinox or equidistant. Couldn't think of anything.